Welcome back guys, I'm back with a brand new tutorial, functions in Python. So as you know, the Python is a functional programming language as well as object-oriented procedural programming language. So Python mostly focus on functional way, like we create the packages and modules in Python. Yes, we can use the object-oriented concepts in Python and we can develop the projects using the object-oriented concept, class concept. But mostly we focus on the functional way. So functions is a code block. We will see what is the function in detail, different type of functions in Python. So functions help break our programs into smaller and modular chunks. That means that if you have 100 lines of code, and it happens that if we have 100 lines of code, so there are some code block which is being used again and again repetitively. So we will try to write it in a way that we will write it once and we will use it again and again. So function is one of the way to do so. A function is a set of statements that take input and do some specific computation and produce output. The idea is to put some commonly or repeatedly done tasks together and make a function, so that instead of writing the same code again and again for different inputs, we can call the function. Python provides built-in function like print, min, max, etc. As well as we can create our own functions. These functions which user can define are called or known as user-defined functions in Python. We will see some practical example of function. So guys, functions syntax is very easy. Def keyword. So like other programming languages, like if you have worked in JavaScript, so when we need to initialize a function, we have to write function, then space, then the function name. So we have to define a keyword, or we have to make a keyword on the programming language level to define the compiler or interpreter. Then we are start writing the function or method. So in Python, to do so, we have a def keyword. That means we are defining a function. After def keyword, give us space and the name of the function. So function name, you can write any function name like display message, get name, set name, anything. Then the parameters. If you want to pass some parameters in a function, then the parameter may be 0 or parameter may be 5, 10, 11. It depends on the functionality. Then a docstring. This docstring is optional, as this parameter is optional. Is if required, then you have to write the docstring. So what is this docstring? So like you have a big organization and you are working on a project, and sometimes it happened that one of the person who is working on a project is assigned some other projects. So if somebody else is new coming on the project working, he wants to understand what is the functionality of the modules of the functions. So this docstring helps to understand to that developer that what is this function is doing. As you can take the simplest example, that whatever you will write in the docstring for this function, the developer who will consume this function will get it back and will understand what is this function is doing. Even you can write some something about parameter types, return types, all these things in the docstring. We will discuss more about this docstring in coming session. After this docstring, statements like whatever you want to execute, like you want to return something, then a return statement. If you want to print something, then a print statement. If you want to perform some action, like you want to do some multiplication and then return, whatever you want to do will come under this statement section. So we will try to define a very simple function, def display underscore name. So this display underscore name function will take one parameter name and it will print that particular value, whatever you print in the name. This function will take one parameter and print the parameter. So this is the docstring. I will also tell you how to get the docstring of any of the function. So first run it, and then we will try to run. So as you are seeing this hello world, we have passed hello world to this display underscore name function, and this is getting printed. So if anybody wants to get the docstring of this display underscore name, then dot underscore underscore doc, and that's it. So as you are seeing that this function will take one parameter and one print statement. This slash n is coming because we are taking this in the next line. So if we will do something like this and run it again, and that's it. So that slash n is removed or discarded because we are not giving any enter, or we are not starting this function string docstring from the next line. Okay, give me a minute. I'm just outputting all the output. Okay. So Python is call by value or call by reference. As you know from the if you are from have worked on in or you have any experience in programming language, so we can pass the value to a function by value or by reference. So Python utilizes a system which is known as call by object reference. So we are not passing reference, we are passing object reference or calling by assignment. In the event that you pass assignment like whole number, string or tuples to a function, the passing is called by value because you cannot change the value of the immutable object being passed to the function. Whereas passing mutable object can be considered as call by reference because when their values are changed inside the function, then it will also be reflected outside the function. We will study this in detail in the coming tutorial. So call by value, that means we are actually passing the value in the function. So name Sujata. So as I have explained here, that in case of call by value we will use, or call by value technique is being used with the variables who are mutable, like name equals to Sujata, so I can change the value name. So I'm passing name here, I'm assigning name. So don't be confused because name Sujata is in this particular scope, and this name equals to Aman this in this local scope of this show underscore name function. And inside function name, when this function will be executed, only this Aman value will be print out, or you can say will display. So I am executing this particular cell, and if I am executing this, first it will execute this show name, then it will go to here, then it will, we have assigned a variable name equals to Aman. So when I am initializing a variable inside a function, it will not affect the variable outside this particular scope because this name variable is in global scope and this name variable is in local scope of this method. So if I will change the value of this name variable, or I'm saying that if I assign name equals to Aman, that means I'm not using this global name variable. I'm taking another name variable in the local scope of this function. So when this will execute inside function, it will print inside function Aman. And when we print this line outside function, this will print this value global variable. So execute it. So as I have already explained you why Aman is here and why Sujata is here, because Sujata value of the name variable is in global scope, and here we are assigning name variable name equals to Aman in the local variable, so it will not affect this name equals to Sujata. Call by reference. Call by reference is used for those kind of with those kind of object which are immutable, that we cannot change the value but we can update the value. So add underscore item list, we are passing the list kind of item to the this function, and list dot append 15. We are adding value 15 or object 15 to this list, and then we are printing inside function. Okay, so my list equals to 11, 12, 13, 14. We have 4 values in the list, and we are passing this list as a reference to add underscore item. So here you are seeing that I am passing my list as a parameter here, and here we are appending list dot append item. So here inside this add underscore item, we are not taking any list item or any list object on a local scope. We are using this list reference. So 15 value will be added on this my underscore my list variable. And when we print outside function, so it will have the same value as inside function. So both the statements, this inside function as well as outside function, will print the same value. Okay, type of functions. So as I already told you, we have built-in function like print, max, min, length, as well as user-defined function, the functions that user can define and use in the programming language. So functions can be defined in a very different way. One of the ways that function with return value. So we are initializing a function or defining a function which only returns some value. We will not pass the parameter to it. It will only return some value. So we have defined a method get pi. It will return the pi value, which is 3.1414 blah blah blah. So we are not passing any parameter to this function, return and return statement, and we are returning this value. So I will execute it and I will execute it. So this get underscore pi will return this value. That's it. Another way, function passing parameter and return value. So we will pass some value to a function and it will do some calculation on it, or then it will return the value. So we have defined a function get underscore square. So this function will take one number as a parameter and it will return the square of that particular number. So execute it, and I'm passing 2 as a value, so I'm expecting 4 as a result. Yes, because we are requiring a square, that means number equals to number, and it will return. That's it. So function arguments. You can call a function by using the following types of normal arguments: required arguments, keyword arguments, default arguments, variable length arguments. So what is required arguments? Sometimes you want a user, or you want the person who is using the function have to give some value to the function, which are required values. Without those required values, you cannot execute the function. Keyword argument. Sometimes you want user to pass the value using the keyword of that particular parameter. Default arguments. Sometimes you have define a function and you have different parameters, 4-5 parameters, and you have initialize one variable with the default value, that if user is not inputting that particular variable's value, then you will take that default value. Variable length arguments. Sometimes your function is taking so many arguments, then you have initialized only one variable that is of variable length. That means it could be a list, it can be a dictionary, it can be a tuple. We will see. So function with required arguments. So I have defined a function display with a parameter name. So if I will if I will try to call this display function without any parameter, then it will show an error, and it is showing that missing one required positional argument name. That means I have to assign or give the value to this name parameter. If I will execute this display Aman is a string, and if I will try to execute it, it will run because I am passing the required value to the function. Function with keyword argument. So like if you have initialize or define a display underscore user function, and we are passing two values, name and age, and we are trying to print the values of name and age. So this is a way to use a keyword argument that I can change the position of the variables if I am using keyword argument technique. I can if I will try to execute it, it will not give any error. And I can also do like this, like if I will change the position of the age, something like this, then it will not show an error because I'm passing the arguments with the keywords. And function with default argument, as I earlier told you that I have defined a method display underscore user, and name is a required parameter and age equals to 20. That means that if you will pass the age parameter to the display underscore user, then it will take that value, otherwise it will take age always 20. So here I'm calling display underscore user function, and I'm only passing the required values or required parameter, which is name equals to Aman Singh, and I'm not passing the value of age. Then it will execute because it will take the default value. And if I will try to pass the value of age as 23, then it will print age as a 23. So this is the way like how we can initialize or pass the default arguments for a function. Function with variable length, as I earlier told you that if you want to pass a variable length parameter to a function, then this is the way: def display star var tuple. So I'm just trying to passing a tuple as a parameter for variable length. We will see how. I'm calling this display function, and I'm passing 1 2 values only, so it will return 1 2. And if I will try to pass only one value, then it will take 1. So it happens many times that you want to or you have to define a function with the variable length of parameters, so you can use this way. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe my channel and like my video. Thank you.